ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
Welcome in. It is Hoist the Colors, Friday, August 22nd. 6 days away from East Carolina taking on NC State to open its 2025 football season. Man, it gets more surreal every time we move another day closer. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. As always, the comments section is open, especially on a free-for-all Friday, although we do have some actual college football to discuss. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, download the IBX Media app as well to get all of our show previews. We got Philip Pilkington hanging out behind the glass, intern Cecilia here as well. In studio next to me, brought to you by Bezos today. He is Bobby Harward. Bobby, how's it going, man?
It is going great. The Orioles finally signed a young prospect to an extension. So
who did they do? I haven't even seen the news.
Samuel Basayo. They signed him 8 years, $66 million with the potential to work up to 88. But since Mike Elias had taken over as general manager, which was in 2018, the Orioles were the only team not to give, what was it, a 5 or 6 plus year extension to any player.
That is
and
wild.
So now that is officially over. We are now within game week for the Pirates. This should be their Sunday night or Sunday.
This is where it gets really confusing.
Yeah, this is their Sunday. So however they treat it, whether they do a Sunday night practice or whatever. And then, just around town. I went running through campus today, and they were getting all prepped up for move-in day. So a lot more traffic in the area now.
No doubt. The students are filing back into town, which is exciting, and we'll have the home opener here before you know it as well. But, man, NC State, ECU. We also have a basketball schedule to discuss. We've got to get into that as well. We've got our Mountain West preview. We got our Week 0 picks. Philip, are you fired up?
I am. I'm really excited until I just realized that there is a basketball game the same day as the Charlotte football game. Which means for us, we're going to have somebody else working here to produce a basketball game that nobody's going to listen to because we're playing Charlotte.
You know,
I'm kind of ticked off about that.
I'm most disappointed that I wanted to go to this game.
I did too. I think it'd be a great game to go to.
Yeah.
Why do we do this? Why do we always schedule basketball games on Saturdays during football? It happens every year.
And then Sundays during the NFL playoff.
Yeah. Well, that's because our stupid TV contract. You can blame the American and ESPN for that one.
Look, I've complained about ECU basketball scheduling enough. I will not complain. This may have been it was Richmond's home game. If you want to get mad at somebody, get mad at Richmond. I mean, to me, it's like if this was a game in Minges, obviously it probably wouldn't have been scheduled. But also, ECU finally got an Atlantic 10 non-conference game. I'm not going to complain.
Well, that you cannot complain. But
And
if I get stuck in the studio, I've never seen us play Charlotte. I was really wanting to go. Now I'm probably get stuck in the studio because we're gonna need more bodies back here.
Well, I'm sorry, Philip.
I want to see us play Charlotte one time.
I'll bring you a cookie on that day, so
All right,
you feel
thank
a little
you.
bit better.
Yeah, a cookie and a beer, preferably.
All right, we'll get into the schedule in a minute. I'm good. We've been doing over-unders all week. I'm going to set my over-under win total for the non-conference schedule. I'm going to make you guys tell me over-under. So looking forward to that here in a minute. We'll read it off. If you got any comments on the schedule, feel free to drop it in the chat. All right, guys, let's get a vibe check. 6 days out. How we feeling ECU, NC State, Bobby? General thoughts as we're again, it's basically game week at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think not much has changed for me really since we discussed it in June. It kind of on that last week of the show before summer break. I think we haven't seen these teams lined up. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of news coming out of the NC State camp. Obviously, your access has been restricted this year at the ECU camp. So I'm just excited.
Everybody's freaking out.
Everyone's freaking out right now. Really just excited to see the pads pop. And honestly, most excited just to be able to turn on the television and watch live football.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth on this a lot. I'm just going to go ahead and say that I'm going to pick – I don't know what the score will be, but I'm going to pick NC State to win the game. But as we get closer, and I try to distance myself from, look, I'm only watching ECU practice. I'm only talking to ECU people. Everybody's excited this time of year, but like I'm just buying that this offense is going to be pretty good, and I'll be very disappointed if they're not. And like I think NC State's offense is going to be pretty good, but it is week 1, and typically the team that makes just the less mistakes wins the week 1 game if the teams are pretty balanced as far as facing each other. And I think while NC State has more talent, especially in the trenches as we've talked about, I don't think the talent disparity is maybe as big as it normally could be in past years.
No, because the transfer portal helps with that. There's a lot of transactions in and out, roster changes and that sort of thing. But if I'm remembering the NC State roster correctly, it's not a lot of seniors like they had 2 years ago or whatnot. Yeah. I know we didn't play them, but that was one of their better seasons, and it was a pretty senior heavy team. I will put it this way though: I would feel a lot better if Blake was still calling the defense going into this matchup. Not because I don't trust Coach Aldridge. I'm just saying from an unknown and known standpoint, because it is going to be an adjustment for NC State. They got 2 new coordinators. Obviously, you have all spring and summer and fall to get acclimated and learn the offense and stuff, but it's also going to be an adjustment for Dave Doran communicating with those guys on game day. He has not done that before.
Can I play a little devil's advocate here?
Yeah.
If you have a new DC on your side, they don't feel like they have to – like Blake would have to feel like he needs to call the game the same way, because we were so successful in December, but it's going to be a total new NC State team. So maybe there is a good thing that we have a new DC, because their offense is probably going to look 10 times different than they looked. Am I totally off my case there?
Well, I was going to say, what do you mean by call the defense the same way?
Because you were saying, like, you kind of wish because the familiarity, but you're just saying the familiarity with
our scheme
players.
And our side.
Okay, I get what you're saying. I thought you meant the familiarity with the opponent is what I thought. Okay, all right.
No.
Dumb point. Sorry, I wasted everybody's time.
No, you're good, because kind of what you're alluding to here, though, is a new scheme to prepare for. So I'm assuming they're going back to Kurt Roper's tape from South Carolina, from Florida. I don't know if he's coordinated or called it since then, but that's probably what they're going to be digging in and looking at, and that's probably what I'd assume all their cut-ups are off of. It's really, they're probably not watching much of actual NC State's roster.
Yeah, I mean, other than, like you said, to get personnel, it's one of those things you've got to try to get. Because, I mean, I think Robert and Kurt Roper's offenses are pretty – there's obviously some overlap, but they're pretty different too. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's one of those things you have to find that balance. I know Josh Aldridge has said, like – and part of it is coach speak, but he's like, at the end of the day, you can go down a rabbit hole where you're just, like, searching for something that isn't there, as far as, like, looking at tape from years ago. And he's like, at the end of the day, you kind of just have to go out and play, worry about you, and then adjust. So you got to find that balance. You obviously don't want to go in blind. I'm just very interested about, and we'll move on to basketball in a second, I'm just very interested about the first quarter of this game, because I do feel like there will be a filling out. I mean, there always is a game 1, but definitely when you start throwing in 3 of the 4 coordinators are new in the football game. Like, there's got to be a filling out process. So does that lead to, like, early scoring? You would think it would lead to kind of like some stalemate early.
I would think it would lead to some 3 and outs, and that was going to say, probably as we discuss more next week, probably my biggest point of emphasis going into that game on next Thursday night is going to be, don't give up the big play early on. Yeah. Don't give up the big play early on and let all that momentum swing to NC State. I think that's going to be the key for ECU. If they sustain a drive and whatnot, have at it. They win the drive. You move on to the next one, but do got to avoid the big plays early and often.
All right, Lane Smith says ECU 33, NC State 23. Mark it down. He also says no basketball, please. Robert Dedrick says officially game week. Let's go. Robert says new OC was the QB coach, so we'll probably leave in what the QB was strong at. Definitely there will be some carryover because he's coached him directly, but I would expect some differences with this game for sure. So we'll see. We'll talk about that more next week. All right, a basketball schedule, sorry, Lane, is out. If you have not been paying attention, this is actually a really competitive and fun non-conference schedule. I'll run through it real quick for those listening and can't see it visually. Your opener November 4th, Georgia Southern inside Minges Coliseum. Then you go on the road to Richmond on November 8th, which, by the way, is the same day as the Charlotte home football game. November 13th, Pirates play their only non-D1 opponent, Elizabeth City State, at home. November 18th, they go to UNC Wilmington for that return trip. November 21st, they welcome Charleston Southern into Minges before the Fort Myers tip-off, which includes bouts with Michigan State and St. Bonaventure in Florida. Pirates come home then for 5 straight home games starting in early December. Maryland Eastern Shore, UNC Greensboro, App State. I believe both those are the start of a home-and-home series. Buffalo comes to Minges. They've made the tournament a couple times in the past decade. Presbyterian on December 17th, and then at North Carolina to round out non-conference play right before Christmas on December 22nd. 13-game non-conference schedule is out. Bobby, your initial thoughts?
I like it. I know that the two complaints people are going to come out with are the Elizabeth City State and the Maryland Eastern Shore. We were discussing a little bit pre-show. But to me, Maryland Eastern Shore, every team in America plays those type of games, and you want to have those on your schedule to have, a confidence builder in a way. If you lose that, that's when it becomes an issue. The Elizabeth State one, don't love, but hey, we were prepped by John Gilbert and Mike Schwartz that we were still going to have a non-D1 on the schedule. My only complaint about it is it's not the first one. You are starting with Georgia Southern and Richmond, and I'm sure that's just some scheduling stuff. But all in all, honestly, I'm very pleased. I thought the Buffalo ad was a surprising one for me, but also a good ad and a creative ad going up into the Northeast. Yeah, and then you got, in-state schools as well as some regional schools that are quality basketball teams.
Philip, your thoughts?
I'm with Bobby. I like this. Where the big ones that stood out to me, we already knew the Richmond thing. I can't remember if that was on or off the record that we had been told that. And we did not know the Buffalo thing. Buffalo obviously is not the program they were 10 years ago in the MAC, but you're still looking at another group of 5 school, as you are with Georgia Southern, and a team that has had some recent success. This is actually a brand amongst true college basketball fans. When you see Buffalo on a schedule, it's like, okay, this is a team who has won. Of course, Hurley was there at the time they were winning, but to see Georgia Southern, another group of 5 school, you're going to have, like Bobby said, the UMasses of the world, and that's fine. It's okay to have a few of those, but it seems like our second tier from the bottom is so much better, than it was a year ago. And the year before that, and the year before that, and so on and so forth. So I like that it seems so much more balanced. Michigan State, Carolina, obviously we knew those, St. Bonaventure. So you got your A-list teams, but you have true B-list teams on this schedule where it seems like the only B-list teams you've really had in the past have been Wilmington and George Mason, and now George Mason and Richmond kind of take the place of each other. I guess Richmond's historically a little better. But to add in schools, again, like Buffalo, and I think there was somebody else on the list. Charleston Southern has had some okay success, not to the level of College of Charleston, but still, it's better than, South Carolina Upstate.
The thing I like about it in Buffalo, by the way, it was under Nate Oates, who now, of course, at Alabama, they were really good under Oates, made the tournament 3 out of 4 years. But since then have not been as good, but were good immediately following that to an extent. So still a notable opponent. We'll see if they can get back to being, towards the top of the MAC this year. Non-conference schedule for ECU. The thing I like is, there is a balance to it from the standpoint of, all right, your tough games you kind of have outside of the Fort Myers tip-off, which obviously you have to play back-to-back on the road. If you go to Richmond and you lose in your road opener, well, you do get to come back home and play Elizabeth City State. And if you lose that game, then we need to disband the program. But you should bounce back, get some confidence. If you go to UNCW, which we know is a tough place, you get Charleston Southern in between the Seahawks and the Fort Myers tip-off. I like that December stretch. You've got a lot of home games after getting tested early. And then you finish with North Carolina right for a conference play and then get through Christmas break. So I like how it lays out. It is tough. And, look, the way I see it is, you're going to be favored in all your home non-conference games. And you're going to be dogs in all your road or neutral non-conference games. So you have 13 non-conference games. Let's do it right now. Let's pick over-under, guys. I'm going to set, 3, as I get a spam call. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 home games. And then 5 neutral road games. So I'm I'm going to set the non-conference win total at 7.5. I mean, I'm not going to expect them to win every single game they're favored in. This is ECU we're talking about. 7.5 over/under non-conference win total for ECU basketball. Way too early win total in 2025-26. What are your thoughts, Bobby?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I had them, as you were kind of talking there, going 8-5. So that I guess that would be the over.
Yeah.
I have in my head their 5 losses at UNCW, Michigan State, St. Bonaventure, North Carolina, and then between one of those, either the road game at Richmond or one of those home games there in December, stubbing their toe.
Richmond, I want to say, was very poor last year, but historically, obviously, we know they have a great program, head coach Chris Mooney. And I don't know, what do you think, 7.5, Phillip?
I think it's a great line because
Yeah.
Bobby's taking the over and I'm taking the just under. I had 7 wins when I looked at it when it first came out. I think they do lose the Richmond game and then either stub their toe against like Buffalo, App, UNCG. So one of those, both games in Fort Myers, at UNC Wilmington, at Richmond, and then obviously in the Dean Dome. But hey, man, if they go 1-12, I'm content if they win in the Dean Dome. So let's just, well, I don't know if I'll lose to Elizabeth City State. If they go 2-11, as long as we win in the Dean Dome, it's a successful out of conference schedule.
Could you imagine 0-12 ECU rolling to the Dean Dome?
Oh gosh,
And beating Carolina, oh man, that'd be awesome.
incredible.
I'll do a shirtless lap.
Around the Dean Dome or around?
If I get to go, I'll do a shirtless lap around the Dean Dome.
Yeah. I know you mentioned you thought we'd be favored in all those home games in December. Do you think we'll be favored over App? App's been pretty good recently, haven't they?
They have been. I mean, that was the one that I looked at and was unsure about. Georgia Southern was improved last year, but I still think ECU's favored in that opener. I think ECU at home is a slight favorite, but a lot will depend on what happens before that game. But App, probably your best home opponent. And by the way, Richmond last year went 10-22. The year before that, they were 23-10. They made the tournament in 2021 at 24-13. Mooney's been there a long time. 358 wins against 290 losses. So I would expect a bounce back year from Richmond. They have some solid NIL money with that program. We did have a comment from Hunter. He said, "I just want home and home with local non-conference opponents. Being in Greensboro, I'd like to attend some of these away games." Well, Hunter, ECU is playing a home and home with UNCG and App State. So next year you can go see them play at both those locations. And also, how far is Richmond from Greensboro and North Carolina from Greensboro? Should be within striking distance.
I know Greenville, it's like 2.5, 3.
Yeah, I was like Chapel Hill's definitely not far.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that you've got some opportunities here, Hunter, and I think it's a good schedule because of that.
I got 2 questions for you.
Yeah.
One, I guess High Point fell off. That was an option.
They were trying to get High Point.
And then 2, what is your over/under? I don't think you've given yours yet.
I'm gonna go under.
Under.
I think they get 7. I think 7 and 6 because they have to go for ECU basketball to prove me wrong with the over. They have to go win one of these games on the road. I'm not going to pick that. And also, I've just seen enough non-conference ECU basketball to know that they're not going to run the table in these non-conference home games. So I would love to be proven wrong. If you go 8-9 wins against this non-conference, you're sitting in pretty good shape. So I do like the schedule as a whole.
Of the 3 of us, would you ever thought I'd be the most optimistic about
Zero
the
shot.
outcome?
No.
Shot.
I'm wonder is it going to all these games the last few years? Are you doing this for the kids? Being optimistic.
Honestly, I don't know. Maybe I just don't want us to be that bad.
It's because you haven't seen the team.
I haven't seen the team. That's part of it. I don't think we're going to be as good as Shorts is selling, but I don't think we're going to be terrible either.
All right, there's your ECU basketball discussion. Yes, Colin, we do have a basketball team, as he asked in the comments. And they won 19 games last year. As Bobby would say, 17. But still, 19 on the official record line. We'll get a break in. We'll come back. We have Week 0 picks later in the show. We've got to get through our Mountain West preview. Boise State, they won it last year. They were in the college football playoff. Can anybody knock them off this year? We'll take a look at that. This is Hoist the Colors.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout eastern North Carolina. Get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arrgh!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Allen, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Like all pirates, Stephen Igo is loyal and bold. He may also have a touch of scurvy. Back to Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
Again, we are 6 days away from kickoff. As we sit here, if you're listening to our live edition, the Dave Doran press conference is ongoing. Got Pack Pride, part of the 24/7 Sports Network, up. Dave Doran reiterating again the way the game against ECU ended last year can't and won't happen again. Those are his quotes. So we'll continue to have coverage leading up to kickoff. Bobby Harward's in studio. Philip Pilkington behind the glass.
Can I quickly break in? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Bobby, you guys have just traded Brian Robinson to the San Francisco 49ers for a 6th-round pick.
You know, on the way, a 6th-rounder. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. On the way over here, I read Ricky Scoops. I don't know if y'all follow Ricky Scoops on Twitter. So
sounds like a fake account.
it is like 100 like a fake account, 100%. But what happens is he's right and calls like everything. And who was it? Pro Football Talk has started mentioning him on the show. He got mentioned on McAfee. The theory is he's some kind of GM or front office person who's created this anonymous account and is tweeting out information. So he had tweeted.
Is he nailing it?
Oh, dude, he tweeted on the way over here that Robinson's going to be traded today. And so he said also that Terry McLaurin will have a new deal before week 1. So more good news hopefully coming to the Commanders. And Jaden Daniels just got listed as number 21 on the top 100.
Yeah. You know what I've noticed? Well, I had heard that he was going to be traded. Kind of. I mean, there was speculations just because y'all's backfield's getting so deep. But is it me or has there been more preseason trades this year than like ever before?
I think
it does feel that
yeah.
way.
I'm agreeing. I was listening to some general manager talk about it, and just I guess part of it maybe depends on where you are at in the waiver wire, and maybe doing some of these late round swaps instead of because you won't be able to claim a guy. But I'm in agreement there, Philip.
All right, did want to shout out Basil sponsoring the show today, 1675 East Fire Tower Road by the AMC Movie Theater. Great lunch, great dinner spots. You can get pizza, salads, sandwiches, all the good stuff at Basil. So appreciate their support of the program. Eat local, drink local. Jim's in the comments section. He says 6 days before the NC State game, and y'all are talking about basketball and Big 12 football. Come on, man. Jim, first off, we're talking Mountain West football. Get it right. Second, we've been talking about ECU, NC State since last December and all offseason. I've been writing about ECU, NC State all offseason. What do you want us to say? What else do we need to talk about? We're going to be talking about it all next week. We're going to have a 2-hour pregame show. Philip and I will. Please, what do you want to know? And I'll tell you. Because I've talked about every aspect of this game. All right.
We have not talked about NC State's long snapper there, Steven.
Jim, I love you, man. Dave Doran talking smack. He better shut up, is what Jim says.
But here's my thing. I know Dave Doran
Dave Doran's talking smack, though?
People need to remember, the comment that he's directing towards the game's not going to end the same way. He's not really referring to the score, the end of the game score. He's referring to the fight. Because as you pointed out, I think probably before we were on the air, their last 2 games have ended in a fight at NC State. The bowl game with us and then the deal at Chapel Hill when they played there. So he's referring to the fights at the end of the game. He's not referring to the scoreboard.
I agree. Dave Doran does not have an injury update to share. He said he'll disclose those when required, which would be Wednesday ahead of every ACC game this season. So they're running back Jonathan Paylor rumored to be injured, but he's not their starter. So significant injury, it sounds like, but not confirmed. All right, Mountain West preview. Jim, if you got another NC State question, let me know. Let's get into this. We'll try to get through it as fast as we can as the Mountain West. This is the last year of the Mountain West as we know it. I've got the field still here. Next year, 5 teams leave, and the 7 remaining schools add UTEP and Northern Illinois.
UTEP. Speaking of UTEP, I know y'all did a Conference USA preview yesterday. Former GA from ECU, Brandon Butcher, is the linebacker coach out of UTEP. Yeah, so there's your ECU tie.
He's part of that Orange Swarm.
Yeah, he used to be the run game coordinator at UT Martin.
Okay, I didn't know that. All right, Boise State, the overwhelming favorite here, obviously. And then you've got San Jose State, UNLV, Air Force kind of considered in that next tier. You also have Colorado State, Hawaii, San Diego State expect to be good. Wyoming was awful last year. Can they bounce back? Nevada, don't really know what to expect from them. Utah State has a new head coach with Bronco Mendenhall going there. He left New Mexico, which is in pretty tough shape. All right, let's get our picks in. Last place team, who you guys have in the Mountain West?
I'm going to go the Nevada Wolfpack.
Not a Nevada Wolfpack guy?
No, I'm not a believer in them this year.
They lost their quarterback.
Yeah, and they're replacing a lot, and they're going to struggle.
Their projected starting quarterback is Chubba Purdy.
Is it Brock Purdy's brother?
I don't know, but the fact that his name is Chubba is it's pretty bad. It does look like he might be related to Brock Purdy. Let's see. All right, you answered your last place. I'm trying to figure this out.
Okay, while you're trying to figure it out, yeah, everything Bobby just said, I will echo.
You're going with Nevada?
Nevada's terrible.
I'm going with New Mexico. I think Bronco being there only a year, transition probably makes it kind of tough. I think it's one of those things where, I don't know. I mean, it's not a huge believer in their new coach as well, although he had some success at Idaho. I'm going New Mexico last place. He is the brother of Brock Purdy, by the way. So Chubba Purdy's going to prove you guys wrong. Keep the Nevada Wolfpack out of the basement. All right, our next category in the Mountain West, best conference game. Probably will involve Boise State for all three of us. What do you say?
No.
Nope. What?
I'm going a battle of the triple option. November 8th, Air Force, San Jose State.
Okay.
I think
that actually could be a good game.
I think that game is going to put the winner of that game is going to have that. I'm going blank on the word I'm going to say. Essentially, the kind of set themselves up to play in the conference championship game.
Driver's seat.
Driver's seat. Thank you. Good gosh, I just went
Jim's
blank.
getting in our head, man.
Jim, yeah.
What do you got? Best conference game, Bob? Or, excuse me, Philip. See, now I'm messed up.
October 18th, UNLV, the Running Rebels, travel to Albertson Stadium and lose to the Boise State Broncos.
You stole my game as well. I have UNLV at Boise State. That was the championship game last year, correct? So that would be a rematch of that.
Also, intern Cecilia did some research. Preston is Chubba's real first name. So I don't know how Chubba became to be, but
Chubba.
Preston Purdy.
See, I'm not a believer in Dan Mullen and the Rebels.
I'm kind of with you. I'm kind of skeptical there. I have Air Force at Colorado State as my second best conference game to close the season.
Got to add the Rams somehow.
Got to add the Rams, my NCAA Dynasty team from a year ago. And
Nice
colors.
3-hour drive up I-90 or I-25, baby.
Dark horse title contender. I'll start. Colorado State.
Wow.
Jay Norvell. My guy Braden Fowler Nicolosi back at quarterback. Lloyd Avant was a stud receiver for me, and I see that he's now playing running back, so that kind of concerns me. But I am going to roll with the Rams just because I love playing with them. Fort Collins, Colorado in dynasty mode. Bob.
I'm going to go Air Force. The Falcons are my dark horse contender. I mentioned in our last little deal there with the best conference game, the winner of the Air Force San Jose game is in the driver's seat. Air Force is my dark horse.
I like that.
I think it's San Diego State. I think they're a solid program in and through. They do have a favorable schedule. They get a couple of the heavy hitters. They get Colorado State at home. They get Boise at home. They get San Jose State at home. So really Fresno, who's kind of the middle of the pack, is the only one they really have to go to. Other than that, their teams they go to are terrible. What's funny?
I just looked over at the screen and saw the back of your head, but I didn't realize you were reading off of something. I thought you were literally just positioned there, so that makes more sense.
Okay, no. I need. The problem is the way we've got like 14 mouses and keyboards. I can't put my laptop in front of me. I've got to put it back there. So it just, I don't know. We need a new setup. What we need is I need to sit out there and have Cecilia produce the show. Is what this comes down to.
There you go.
All right, we'll continue on. Jim has dropped 4 questions about NC State, so we'll get to those later. Conference MVP, who you got?
Madison. Or Madsen, however you pronounce
it. If he's
it.
going to be the MVP, you got to pronounce his name right.
Yeah, to me it was just so tough to pull this. I don't know if, with Genty being the obvious last year, I don't know how many high-quality individual talented players there are in the Mountain West.
Yeah. Your thoughts, Philip?
Last year, none of us actually picked Ashton Genty.
Shame on us.
Shame on us.
What were we
doing? And with that really good offensive line that Boise State has that's very mature, old, a lot of seniors, a lot of redshirt seniors, grad transfers, I'm going to pick Malik Sherrod, the transfer from Fresno State. Actually, intern Cecilia kind of, when she was helping my Mountain West research and helped me out with this, he played 4 games last year for Fresno State and got injured, missed the rest of the season, but had a phenomenal year the year before. He would have been the second best running back in the Mountain West last year. So I think he fits into Genty's role well. He's no Ashton Genty, but he does win Conference Player of the Year.
I'm impressed.
That was very good.
By both of you guys on that one. Championship game, mine is Madsen as well, because I didn't know who to pick. So I just faded Bobby. Or not faded. What's the opposite of faded? Roll with?
Tailed,
there you go. Conference championship game, I've got Boise State versus San Jose State. I have San Jose State winning the championship. Ken Niumatalolo, the best coach in the Mountain West.
Love it. I have the same championship game, different winner. I'm going to say the Boise State Broncos ride into the Pac-12 with the Mountain West championship.
Well, you guys have not been watching a lot of Boise State football because it seems like every time they do go to like the Fiesta Bowl, the next year they have some bad letdown, like when they lost to Nevada and Capper Dick. And so I don't know if I can say that on air, but I don't care. So Boise will mess it up. They will beat UNLV because we don't trust Dan Mullins. But you know what? They will lose, as Igo said, to San Jose State and Ken Niumatalolo.
All right, there's your picks. And we'll see if we're getting fined.
I don't think I should have said, whoops, whatever. I don't care.
We got to get a break in. Jim Rayford will answer his questions about NC State, ECU on the other side. And also, we got to make our Week 0 game picks. We're going to do that as well. This is Hoist the Colors.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
For over 51 years, Parker's Barbecue has brought families together with our award-winning whole hog barbecue and fried chicken. Tradition is important at Parker's Barbecue, and for 3 generations, the Parker's Way has stood the test of time. Whether you visit our dining rooms or drive-thrus, use our on-site catering, or even use our nationwide shipping, the hospitality, barbecue, fried chicken, homemade sides are still the same.
We are the Parker family. Come in and let our family show you. This is the Parker's Way.
Hoist the sail!
Climb aboard as we set sail and hoist the colors.
Ahoy, me hearties!
Back to Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in, Hoist the Colors. Bobby Harward in studio, brought to you by Basil's. Philip Pilkington behind the glass. Intern Cecilia hanging out, giving Mountain West advice. We made it through our Mountain West preview. All right, we'll make our Week 0 picks, but we have to talk to Jim Rayford. He's blowing up the chat. But I give you credit, Jim. You said you want to talk ECU NC State. I said, give me some talking points. He has done that. He says, how about Dave Doran saying he wants to beat the crap out of ECU? We've kind of already addressed that. I feel like we talked about that.
Yeah, that happened at Media Days at the beginning of August, so that's been discussed.
Will State fire Doran if the Pirates upset them? Jim, I say not right away, but it'll eventually happen.
Yeah, I would say there'll definitely be some noise from the Wolfpack Club or whatever that is, and he'll be on the hot seat for sure, but there's 11 more games left in the season.
No coach is getting fired after week 1 without doing something obscene, but yes, indirectly I think they do, unless they end up 11-1 or 10-2.
He also wants to know, how safe is Dave Doran if NC State only wins a squeaker at home? I would say as long as they win, he's okay.
Yeah.
And again, there's 11 games.
Again, yeah, exactly. 11 games, and honestly, by the time they get through ACC play, ECU game is really they're just going to see W or L and not really remember how close or not close it was.
He adds, YouTube is blowing up about how good the Wolfpack will be this year. Don't see how much better they could be. I think that's just a comment. I think we all kind of are on the court of a lot of question marks, but a lot of it comes down to CJ Bailey. Like, if he takes that step, he has one of the higher ceilings of the ACC quarterbacks. You know, and look, you got CJ Bailey, Hollywood Smothers, and Justin Jolie, good receivers. Like, they should be good offensively. He also adds, I'm worried about the Pirate defense all season. Have you heard from anyone if the defense will be decent enough not to get exposed? I mean, the coaches are going to believe in the defense. I've seen things at practice that excite me and worry me over the course of an entire offseason. And I think we're just at the point now where put the ball down, let's see how it looks on game day. I feel like I've talked about this defense all offseason. I can see the potential. I can see the concerns. Now I'm just ready for it to happen so I can talk about something else.
Understood.
All right. Philip, have you gotten fined yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Let's
We'll
make
see.
some picks.
Henry might be waiting outside the door. Who knows?
He might be. You guys ready? All right. So was it Philip who won our championship last year? Or was
No,
it you?
Bobby.
You. By how many games? 2?
It was close.
It's 2 or 3.
I just remember it came down to the end.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't me because I came in last.
I won the first year. It was me, then you, then Joe, and then last year was Bobby, then me, then you.
All right. Let's see who can become either a 2-time champion or a first-time champion. We're going to do college and NFL picks all season long. Of course, no NFL this weekend nor next weekend. So we start with college. We're picking every week 0 game. Tomorrow, 12 noon, Saturday, Dublin, Ireland, Iowa State, Kansas State. Top 25, Big 12 matchup. Jim is really fired up for this one. Kansas State, a 3-point favorite. How we feeling? Gentlemen, who wants to go first with our first pick? We'll let the champion lead it off.
All right. Avery Johnson's returning at quarterback. That's kind of what is having me lean the way of the Wildcats. I think this is going to be a very, very good football game. I will not be able to watch. Tomorrow is my daughter's 6th birthday, so we will be
Happy
celebrating.
birthday.
Yep, thank you. Happy birthday, Elliot. So, yeah, give me the Wildcats and Avery Johnson to cover.
Yeah, I'm going to go with K-State here as well. I think there was some stat that was brought up yesterday. They've covered, I think, in each of their last 3 openers. But, I just think they're a little bit more of a complete team right now than Iowa State. If this spread was up closer to 7, I may be a little more hesitant. But I think at worst they push on this -3. And Avery Johnson, I think, is the best player on the field.
Kansas State, give me the Wildcats to cover the 3. I do think we see a great game. Look, Iowa State is just always solid. They do have some question marks offensively, especially at receiver. That's why they brought in Chase Sowell, former ECU wide receiver. I'm going to say that Chase Sowell catches a touchdown pass, and he also drops one, and Kansas State wins by a touchdown. All right, we're making this pick because we have to. Idaho State is at UNLV. Dan Mullen's first game, 26.5-point favorites are the running Rebels. We just talked about them. You're not a believer.
I'm not, and I have the Bengals.
Okay. The Bengals?
The Bengals. That's what they are.
The Bengals covering
26.5.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a lot. I think with all the transition on that roster and Dan Mullen coming in, game 1, it's a good opener for them to get their feet
what
wet.
are they trying to show?
Right.
Too,
Yep.
I disagree. I think, as much as I don't believe, I think they're out to prove a point. I think they can outscore them by 1 touchdown per quarter. I think 28 is possible. Give me the Rebels. I'll take UNLV.
I don't know a single thing about Idaho State football other than ECU at one point was recruiting one of their transfer receivers this past offseason. Last year they went 5-7. They did open the season at Oregon State, and they lost by 23, 38-15. And the year before that, they played at San Diego State, and they lost by 8. Now, they also played at Utah State, and they lost 78-28 that same season. I'm with Bobby on this one, 26.5. How much are they trying to show? Give me Idaho State to cover the points, even though I don't feel great about it. So I'll go with the Bengals, as Bobby said.
Lone wolfing it there. No, you are going.
You're the lone wolf.
I'm the lone wolf. Yeah.
Fresno State is at Kansas, another Mountain West team. We didn't really talk too much about them. Kansas is a 13-point favorite here. Fresno State coming off a mid-year. Kansas coming off a mid-year, but has Jalen Daniels back at quarterback. I am going to take the Jayhawks here. I think this is a close game throughout, and then Kansas scores late to pull away, wins by a couple touchdowns. Bob?
Yeah, Jalen Daniels is the difference here. I think Fresno State, new coach, new roster. It looks like a former Rice quarterback, E.J. Warner, will be their starter at Fresno State. But I still like Jalen Daniels. And Leipold's such a good football coach. Give me the Jayhawks.
E.J. Warner still has eligibility left. I feel like he was at Temple like a decade ago.
But
he was.
He played as
he was
a freshman.
At Rice last year. He played as a
right,
freshman at Temple, threw for like 550 yards against ECU in that finale.
Yeah, he did. Look, the Jayhawks are my dark horse to win the Big 12. And who would I be to go back on my dark horse and say they can't cover against a Fresno State team that's got, a lot of turnover, a lot of newness. And I do like Jalen Daniels. So, yeah, give me Rock Chalk Jayhawk, baby.
Sam Houston and Western Kentucky. This is my Conference USA game of the year happening week 0 because I will not watch any other Conference USA game. Western Kentucky is a 10.5-point favorite. Tyson Helton's back. They go 8-9 wins every year, and they're going to get win number 1 here, and they're going to do it with a score by 14 to 21 points. Give me Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers, to cover 10.5. Bob.
I also got the Hilltoppers. Phil Longo, Sam Houston's new head coach. I think Sam Houston has punched above their weight class a little bit here in the last few years. And because Blake Harrell won out the rest of the year, Tyson Helton is returning to Western Kentucky. So give me the Hilltoppers.
This is one of those where if it was later in the year, I would be more maybe inclined to go Bearcats, but just new coach, a lot of new things going on. I think Sam Houston State's going to have a solid year, but just the newness of this week 0, I think that Western Kentucky does backdoor cover this one. I think they put them away late.
All right, our final game, Stanford, Hawaii. Stanford is projected to be the worst team in the Power 4, whatever they call it. Hawaii is projected to be a middle-of-the-road Mountain West team. They went 5-7 last year. Timmy Chang going into year 4 as head coach. Now, I'm seeing they might start a redshirt freshman quarterback. That concerns me a little bit. They do have 15 returning starters, though, which I like, including, apparently, they've got Elijah Robinson listed up here. Elijah Robinson was a former ECU player. That didn't know he had another year of eligibility. Either way, Bobby, who you got? Hawaii, 2.5-point favorites.
I had originally written down Stanford because I just couldn't see a Power 4 team losing to Hawaii, but I'm going to flip it. I don't know what Frank Reich and Andrew Luck are doing out there in Pasadena, so give me – or it is Pasadena. No, it's not.
No, UCLA's Pasadena.
Yeah, that's right.
It's in Stanford, California.
Gotcha. Well, they don't know what they're doing. I don't know where they're located. Give me the Rainbows.
What you got?
The last time Frank Reich took over a dumpster fire, it did not go well. I'm not saying it's going to go that bad, but they will not cover in Hawaii at a 7:30 start time, the earliest kickoff probably in the history of Hawaii football. But, yeah, give me the Rainbow Warriors.
Man, I'm just looking at this Hawaii website, and I'm loving the shirts, the bio shirts they have on. They've got the Hawaiian shirts in their bios. I mean, how can you go against the Rainbow Warriors, man? Timmy Chang leading his crew. All these names, impossible to say on their roster.
Not good at Samoan names there.
No.
They were
you better get good at them because BYU's coming to town, baby.
And I will not say any of their names besides the quarterback.
Bear
Bachmeier.
You just call him
Number
by his first
47.
name.
Give me Hawaii. I just think Stanford, I'm not going to pick them to win a single game this year. Palo Alto, California.
I was going to say Palo Alto, but I also was.
But there is a Stanford, California, I think. And I think it's just out. I think Stanford's just outside of Stanford, which is dumb. Why is it not in Stanford? Why is it in Palo Alto?
Now we're just
geography rambling.
We'll look at it during the break. Palo Alto, Stanford, California. We'll figure out. Is Philip right? Is there actually a Stanford, California?
I think so. And I think it's like right next to the campus.
All right, we'll find out.
It's probably like Wake Forest. It used to be there, and then they picked up and moved one morning.
We'll have the answer. And also, Newton Smith wants to know, C.J. Bailey is just one player. How is the rest of the pack? Can they protect him? We'll have that answer as well to wrap up the show. Hoist the Colors, final segment on the way.
Turn your car into cash at Greenville Toyota. Cash in your trade-in today. Then get new Camry, just $249 a month. Or drive a new RAV4, $319 a month. At Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Cash in your trade-in at Greenville Toyota. Get a huge offer when you trade. Then save big on a brand new Corolla, just $229 a month. Or get a Tacoma, just $319 a month. Secure your Toyota now at Greenville Toyota.
Every ECU fan's one stop for all things ECU athletics. This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment here. We're back. Bobby Harvard's in studio, Philip Pilkington behind the glass. We were trying to figure out, is Stanford, California, is it a city? Is it a community, a borough? What did we find out, Philip?
It is a syndicated area, but it's a
So it's
Stanford,
not a city.
It's not a city, but I was right when I said that Stanford is in Stanford. It's in the area of Stanford, but it's not. It's in the town of Palo Alto. It's almost like we kind of said. It's almost kind of like, I guess, like a borough, or almost. I don't know if it's like a borough. It's almost more like when you think of things like Harlem, like a neighborhood. Like there's the neighborhood of Harlem, which is in New York City. It's obviously on Manhattan as well, but I think that's kind of what it is.
According to Google, Stanford is a census-designated place in the northwest corner of Santa Clara County, California. It is the home of Stanford University, after which it is named. The CDP's population was 21,150 at the 2020 census. So there's your Stanford, California facts. We had a question from Newton, said CJ Bailey is just one player. How is the rest of the pack? Can they protect him? I was talking to a source this morning. Offensive line-wise, I think they feel decent but not great. They do have a stud tackle, Jacarius Peak, experienced returning starter. They also have a stud guard, Anthony Carter, returning. They added a transfer, Teague Anderson, good player as well. So I think they feel good about the front. And then Justin Jolie, all-conference tight end. Hollywood Smothers, all-conference caliber running back. I mean, they're pretty good offensively, I would say.
Yeah, I think relative to the ACC, they feel pretty good about it. Against us, obviously they're going to be bigger bodied. They're just higher recruited players and normally bigger players. The other thing with ECU's defense, from a defensive pressure standpoint, our linemen and stuff don't necessarily give our D linemen advantages. Normally we create pressure, not off of one-on-one matchups, but bringing an extra guy, disguising, those sort of things. So I would imagine there's going to be quite a bit of that in terms of trying to get home on the quarterback.
One thing I want to see, if NC State's going to be good this year, part of this goes with CJ Bailey. Their receiver room undoubtedly has talent. Noah Rogers, former Ohio State transfer, Wesley Grimes. and Terrell Anderson. Like, they've got size and talent, but those guys have not really proven they can be dudes at receiver yet. So we always hear about how good they're gonna be, and going into the opener, I would take ECU's receiver room, as crazy as it is to say, because Anthony Smith was there, didn't play. But, like, he has gone out and proven it. Yannick Smith, on a smaller sample size of snaps, has had more production than Noah Rogers and Wesley Grimes. So, like, I think they have top-end talent, but they have to go out there and prove it. So I think they've got question marks at receiver.
And I feel like if Yannick Smith did entertain the portal and go that way, I'd bet NC State would be happy to have him, and I bet he would be in their starting lineup right now, kind of emphasizing your point a little bit. Also like what Pettaway brings from an explosive standpoint.
Also, I think, and I know this is not their direct competition, but Anthony Smith has been a much better receiver here. He was a top-of-the-route tree guy only there, and we have done a much better job of utilizing him. Just saying.
Yeah, he struggled to catch the ball from what I heard at their practices, and he has had, obviously he's been here a year now, and he's had proven success. So sometimes change of scenery, confidence, all that matters. So, again, we'll see. I think both offenses have a chance to be very explosive on August 28th. We're out of time. Bobby, appreciate you.
Yep.
Philip, great job as always, man. We'll see you game week next week. Looking forward to it. This has been Hoist the Colors.
This has been Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo. Get a recap of this show at 943thegame.com and on your IBX Media app, on Twitter, Facebook, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Tune in weekdays at noon to get